Best of the Best, 1989, was more than just a martial arts movie. It was a gripping tale of discipline, perseverance, and redemption that resonated with audiences worldwide. Featuring an incredible cast of action stars and dramatic talents, the film became a cult classic, inspiring generations of martial arts enthusiasts. However, as time went on, the lives of its stars took unexpected and often heartbreaking turns. Some achieved lasting success, while others faced personal struggles, tragedies, or even faded into obscurity. Now, 36 years later, we take a deep dive into what happened to the cast in 2025, exploring their careers, personal battles, and the highs and lows they faced over the decades. James Earl Jones was born on January 17, 1931, and at the age of 58, he portrayed Frank Cuso in Best of the Best in 1989. Frank was a tough, disciplined coach who pushed his team to the limits, reflecting Jones' own unyielding determination. James Earl Jones, despite being one of Hollywood's most respected actors, faced many personal challenges throughout his life. He grew up with a severe speech impediment that left him mute for a decade, causing intense isolation during his formative years. His early life was marked by an absence of stability, with his parents' separation leaving him with deep emotional scars. Jones' career, while successful, was shaped by the racial limitations of Hollywood, and despite his immense talent, he often found himself in roles that didn't allow him to showcase his full potential. He married actress Cecilia Hart, and they had one son, Flynn, but their relationship was strained by the long absences caused by his career. Tragedy struck when Cecilia was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in the mid-2000s. Despite his wealth and fame, Jones could not protect her from the disease that ultimately claimed her life. After her passing on September 9, 2024, at the age of 93, Jones withdrew from the limelight, his personal grief overshadowing his public persona. John Dye was born on January 31, 1963, and at age 26, he portrayed Virgil Keller in Best of the Best in 1989. Virgil was the calm, spiritual center of the team, a man whose calm demeanor and devotion to his Buddhist faith balanced the aggressive nature of the other characters. However, Dye's own life was far from the serenity he portrayed on screen. Though he found later fame in Touched by an Angel, Dye struggled with a lack of fulfilling roles that truly challenged his acting abilities, leading to personal frustration and internal conflict. Dye's personal life was marked by an intense sense of isolation. Despite several relationships, he never married or had children, and his emotional struggles became more pronounced as he grew older. Behind his on-screen persona, Dye battled with depression and a sense of emptiness that seemed to seep into every aspect of his life. His faith, which was a source of peace for many, was not enough to shield him from the darkness he felt within. Dye's increasing withdrawal from the public eye was a testament to his struggles, and he became more reclusive as the years passed. On January 10, 2011, Dye passed away at age 47 from heart failure, a heartbreaking end to a life marked by quiet suffering. His death came just as he was beginning to find more meaningful work, but the internal battles he faced ultimately overshadowed his external success. Chris Penn was born on October 10, 1965, and at the age of 24, he portrayed Travis Brickley in Best of the Best in 1989. Travis was a rebellious, hot-headed fighter, whose brashness masked a deep well of insecurity and longing, a reflection of Chris Penn's own struggles. Despite his talent, Penn never managed to escape the shadow of his famous older brother, Sean Penn, which plagued him throughout his career. His early roles in films such as Reservoir Dogs showed great promise, but his personal demons soon took control. Chris struggled with addiction to drugs and alcohol, a battle that continually undermined his career and personal life. His public persona was one of self-destruction, with his weight fluctuating wildly and his behavior becoming erratic, leading to strained relationships and a lack of stability. Penn was never married, and despite some relationships, he lived a solitary life, his emotional struggles largely invisible to the public. His career, once on the rise, began to fizzle out, with few opportunities in his later years. By the time he was 40, Chris Penn's body had been ravaged by years of substance abuse, and on January 24, 2006, he was found dead at home from heart disease. His untimely death was a heartbreaking conclusion to a life filled with unrealized potential, marked by addiction, personal strife, and missed chances. Louise Fletcher was born on July 22, 1934, and at 55 years old, in 1989, she took on the role of Mrs. Grady in Best of the Best, a caring and steadfast mother to Alex Grady. Mrs. Grady's character is a pillar of strength and emotional support, offering her son a deep well of love and encouragement as he navigates the tough world of competitive martial arts. Louise's career was one of initial brilliance, highlighted by her Academy Award-winning performance as Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. However, her early fame became a double-edged sword, as she became typecast, and finding roles that matched her talent was a continual struggle. While she starred in Brainstorm, 1983, and Flowers in the Attic, 1987, her career did not sustain its momentum, leaving her with few opportunities to reach the heights she once experienced. Louise's personal life was marked by a turbulent marriage to film producer Jerry Bick, which ended in divorce, and she had 2 sons from the marriage. Despite the support of her family, Louise often found herself isolated, particularly as her career slowed and Hollywood's interest in her waned. In 2017, Louise suffered a stroke, and in the following years, her health deteriorated, leaving her unable to work. After a quiet final chapter, Louise Fletcher passed away on September 23, 2022, at 88. Edward Bunker was born on December 31, 1933, and at 56, he portrayed Stan, a character in Best of the Best whose gruff exterior concealed a deep well of wisdom and kindness. Like Stan, Edward's real life was shaped by hardship and struggle. Before becoming an actor and writer, Edward spent much of his youth in and out of prison, where he was incarcerated for armed robbery and other crimes. His time in San Quentin was transformative, leading him to discover his passion for writing. His breakthrough as a writer with No Beast So Fierce opened doors to Hollywood, and he became known for his gritty, realistic portrayals of criminals and ex-convicts. Though he found some success in Hollywood with films like Straight Time, 1978, and Reservoir Dogs, 1992, his career never reached the heights he desired. His personal life was filled with struggles as well, as his marriage to Angela was strained, and they had a son, Brendan, but their relationship was affected by his emotional distance and unresolved issues from his past. Diagnosed with diabetes in his later years, his health began to deteriorate, and he suffered from the toll of his years in prison and the stress of his career. Edward Bunker passed away on July 19, 2005, at the age of 71, his life marked by a constant battle between his desire for redemption and the inescapable reality of his past. John P. Ryan was born on July 30, 1936, and at the age of 53 in 1989, he portrayed Jennings, the tough, authoritative leader in Best of the Best. Jennings, with his sharp commands and unyielding presence, demanded respect from everyone around him, a reflection of Ryan's career as a character actor who often found himself playing similar roles. Despite a prolific career, Ryan's journey was one of unfulfilled potential. He appeared in notable films such as Runaway Train, 1985, and Class of 1999, 1990, but his attempt to break through into leading man territory was consistently thwarted. Ryan's personal life was filled with heartache and disappointment. His brief marriage ended in divorce, and he had no children to carry on his legacy. Despite his talent, Hollywood often relegated him to supporting roles, and he struggled financially in his later years. The onset of cancer further compounded his challenges, forcing him into painful treatments and leaving him isolated from both his colleagues and the industry. When Ryan passed away on March 20, 2007, at 70, his death was largely overlooked, the silence around it reflecting the obscurity he had lived in for many years. His career, which once promised so much, faded without the recognition or tribute he deserved, a tragic end to a life that had been filled with untapped potential and unrealized dreams. Eric Roberts was born on April 18, 1956, and played Alex Grady in Best of the Best in 1989 at the age of 33. Alex, a martial artist, was defined by his resilience and unwavering determination to overcome personal tragedy and compete in a high-stakes tournament. Roberts' breakthrough in Runaway Train earned him critical acclaim, but soon, a battle with drug addiction, arrests, and legal troubles followed, halting his ascent. His personal life mirrored the chaos of his career. He married Eliza Garrett, but their relationship was rife with instability. The couple faced numerous separations and public disputes, and although he had a daughter, actress Emma Roberts, their relationship was strained for years due to Eric's erratic behavior. In addition to the wreckage of his marriage, his addiction led to health problems and a motorcycle accident that left him with permanent nerve damage, diminishing his physical capabilities. Eric struggled with financial instability, and by the mid-90s, his once promising career had dwindled to straight-to-video films. By 2025, at 68, Eric Roberts is living in relative obscurity, his health worn by years of self-destructive behavior. Once an actor with immense potential, he is now a cautionary tale of what could have been. Phillip Rhee was born on September 7, 1960, and played Tommy Lee in Best of the Best in 1989 at the age of 29. Tommy was a dedicated and highly skilled martial artist, known for his unwavering honor and loyalty. However, despite his immense talent, Rhee faced the harsh reality of Hollywood's racial barriers and was often overlooked for prominent roles. The struggles began as he was frequently typecast, and even his efforts to produce and direct sequels to Best of the Best were marred by financial hardships and critical indifference. Despite his best efforts, these films failed to provide him with the recognition he sought. His personal life was equally challenging. Rhee married, but his devotion to his work created a rift in his family life. He struggled with being away from his children for extended periods while battling personal depression and isolation. Tragedy struck in the form of a debilitating onset injury that left him in chronic pain, further complicating his already strained physical and emotional state. Rhee's brother's untimely death added to his grief, leaving him lost in a dark period of despair. Legal battles over film rights drained his financial resources, forcing him to spend years fighting for his creative work. By 2025, at 64, Phillip Rhee has retreated from the public eye, his health frail, and his career a distant memory of unrealized dreams. Tom Everett was born on October 21, 1948. He portrayed Don Peterson in Best of the Best, 1989, at 41, a coach who stood as the emotional pillar of the team, embodying strength, discipline, and a sense of duty that kept everyone focused on their mission. Don was the quiet, steadfast figure in the background, always putting the needs of the team before his own. However, Tom's career trajectory would not mirror the success of his character. Although he was a familiar face in Hollywood for decades, with appearances in various television shows and films, his star never truly rose. The lack of significant roles left him battling feelings of inadequacy and bitterness. In his personal life, Tom married Karen, but their marriage became strained as Tom's career fell into decline. They had a son, Matthew, but the emotional detachment Tom displayed, coupled with his inability to find stable work, led to their eventual divorce. His financial instability worsened, and Tom found himself unable to connect with his son, who went on to live with Karen. As Tom's depression deepened, he sought solace in alcohol and isolation. In 2020, Tom suffered a stroke, leaving him physically compromised. Now, at 76, Tom lives in a nursing home, a forgotten actor whose personal and professional life is defined by what could have been an abandoned dream, slowly fading away. Sally Kirkland was born on October 31, 1941, and portrayed Catherine Wade in Best of the Best in 1989 at the age of 48. Catherine was a nurturing figure, providing spiritual guidance to the fighters, and Sally's portrayal resonated with depth and emotional strength. She earned an Oscar nomination for her performance in Anna, a role that promised a bright future, but Hollywood's preference for younger women left her struggling to maintain her place in the industry. After the success of Anna, Sally's career was marked by a series of unremarkable roles in independent films, where she was often underpaid and undervalued. Her personal life was equally turbulent, with numerous failed relationships and a marriage that did not last. Her search for lasting love was thwarted by her devotion to her career, but Hollywood's rejection and ageism only added to her personal despair. Health complications arose, including a near-fatal allergic reaction to silicone injections that she had taken in an attempt to combat aging and maintain her appearance for the industry. Financial troubles worsened as her work dried up, and she found herself in a constant struggle to survive. By 2025, at 83, Sally Kirkland lives in near isolation, her once promising career forgotten by the very industry that once praised her. Edan Gross was born on October 10, 1978. He portrayed Walter Grady in Best of the Best, 1989, at just 11, the young, innocent son of Alex Grady who symbolized the emotional heart of the film. However, Edan's career, which seemed so bright in his youth, would soon fall into the shadows. As a child star, he appeared in a variety of television shows and animated series, but like many young actors, the transition into adult roles was elusive. His childhood fame quickly faded as he grew older, and Hollywood's interest in him dwindled. Unable to find meaningful roles, Edan slipped into obscurity, struggling with his identity and the harsh realities of being a former child star. His personal life was marked by a turbulent marriage to Rachel when he was 24, and they had a daughter, Emily. However, the pressure of Edan's failing career and personal dissatisfaction led to the breakdown of their marriage. Rachel left him in 2010, taking Emily with her, and Edan found himself alone and sinking deeper into emotional despair. Turning to alcohol to numb the pain, Edan's life spiraled further out of control. In 2017, a DUI arrest served as a painful reminder of how far he had fallen. By 2025, Edan is 46, living alone in a small apartment, working a low-paying call center job, and haunted by the past. James Liu was born on September 6, 1952. In 1989, at 37, he played Sae Jin Kwon, a skilled and disciplined martial artist from Team Korea in Best of the Best. Sae Jin's character was a perfectionist, embodying the precision and mental fortitude of traditional Korean martial arts. James Liu's career as a martial artist and choreographer flourished, yet he struggled to break into leading roles. Although talented, he often found himself relegated to supporting parts, a fate that mirrored his personal struggles. His first marriage was plagued by neglect and emotional distance, eventually ending in divorce. James also had a troubled relationship with his son, David, whom he rarely saw due to his demanding career. His professional dreams were shattered when a major film project he directed collapsed, leading to financial ruin and a period of homelessness in the late 90s. Chronic pain from years of stunt work and martial arts left him battling addiction to painkillers in secret. By 2025, James, now 72, lives in solitude, his health deteriorating, with his body broken by years of physical exertion. His life is spent away from the public eye, surviving on residuals while Hollywood forgets his contributions. Simon Rhee was born on October 28, 1957. He portrayed Daehan Park in Best of the Best, 1989, at 32, a skilled and formidable fighter from Team Korea whose strength and honor stood in stark contrast to the American team's internal turmoil. However, despite his abilities, Simon's career never reached the heights he hoped for. Though he worked as a stunt coordinator and trainer, his face remained relegated to supporting roles, often as a villain or secondary character. Hollywood seemed uninterested in truly acknowledging his martial arts expertise, and the lack of recognition led to frustration and bitterness. Simon never married, instead dedicating his life entirely to martial arts, but the sacrifices left him emotionally isolated. He found solace in the discipline of his craft, but loneliness followed him wherever he went. As the years went by, the physical toll of his work began to take its toll. His body, once agile and strong, was now riddled with injuries, leaving him in chronic pain by his late 50s. In 2023, a devastating spinal injury left him partially paralyzed, ending his career in martial arts and stunt coordination. The realization that he could no longer pursue his passion deeply affected him, both physically and emotionally. Now, at 67, Simon lives in near isolation, his physical abilities severely diminished, and his once promising career a distant memory. Ahmad Rashad was born on November 19, 1949. At 40, he portrayed himself in Best of the Best, bringing his real-life sports background into the narrative. As a renowned sportscaster, Ahmad was known for his charisma and presence, both on and off the screen. However, his life outside the spotlight was far more turbulent. Despite his career successes, Ahmad's personal life was a series of emotional roller coasters. He married 5 times, each marriage ending in scandal and heartache. His third marriage, to a prominent actress, was particularly disastrous, marked by mutual infidelity and public arguments that tarnished both their reputations. Ahmad's strained relationships with his children, especially his daughter, who became estranged from him after his divorces, deepened his feelings of isolation. His obsession with maintaining his image and staying relevant in the highly competitive world of sports broadcasting led him to make reckless decisions, including publicly feuding with colleagues and taking on projects that only further diminished his standing in the industry. These struggles were compounded by personal issues, including a gambling addiction and bouts of depression. By 2025, Ahmad, now 75, leads a solitary existence, his once thriving career a distant memory. Cal Bartlett was born on February 7, 1935. In 1989, at the age of 54, he portrayed Dr. Weissman, the calm and steady physician who provided medical support to the fighters in Best of the Best. Dr. Weissman was the moral anchor of the team, offering wisdom and guidance in the midst of physical and emotional turmoil. Cal Bartlett's acting career, while steady, never reached the heights of fame. He was often cast in supporting roles, playing the dependable mentor or wise elder, roles that resonated with his own life experiences. His first marriage ended when his wife left him for a fellow actor, taking their daughter, Lisa, with her. The separation left him broken and distant, and he spent years trying to reconnect with his daughter, though his efforts were in vain. His second marriage, to a woman from outside the industry, was marred by alcoholism and emotional neglect, eventually leading to another painful divorce. A neurological condition that affected his speech and memory further isolated him, leaving him unable to continue his work as an actor. In his final years, Cal faced a deep sense of loneliness and regret, as his once prominent career and family life slipped away. By 2025, at 90, he resides in a small assisted living facility, his once vibrant career now a distant memory. Who is your favorite character from Best of the Best? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.